Hi Tarot Tribe, it's Ethne, your friendly neighborhood tarot goddess, and today I want to talk about what to do when you get mixed messages about the meaning of a tarot card and what you can do about it. So this blog post was actually inspired by a question from a tarot student of mine who asked about reading with the decks that have either very different imagery than that of a traditional deck that you have, or traditional texts or what you're finding in your resources, or that have conflicting meanings in the books. And what do you do and what do you trust in regards to message? So that's a very big conversation. So I wanted to discuss that and unpack that a little bit. So we're going to dive in and explore what I do in those situations, and hopefully it'll help you as well. And before I begin, as with everything I share, take what resonates with you and simply leave the rest. So just to be really clear, tarot confusion in this instance is when you read one or more tarot guidebook or tarot resource about a card that comes up in a reading that may seem contradictory, or when you have a tarot card in your reading that is so far outside the normal visual knowledge of the card that you have, you get stumped because you aren't sure if the meaning you have learnt about the card even has a place. So what do you do when you have a card that you thought had to do with happiness and the artist has given you something that does not look happy? That kind of thing. So that is a very interesting sort of place that we find ourselves in. A great thing about tarot is that we're all going to read, and more importantly, resonate with different teachers, authors, art, systems, and ways of reading the cards. It also means that finding yourself in a situation where you are at odds with the meaning of a card is going to be much higher because of all of the information out there. So 2 questions that I would ask any tarot reader or student when faced with this situation are, number 1, what kind of reader are you or do you want to be? And number 2, what system are you working with? So the first question, what kind of reader are you or do you want to be? So are you looking to learn all the meanings of the tarot cards by memory? Or are you going to be an intuitive reader who happens to use the tarot as an intuitive tool? Or are you, like me, both? Psychic, tarot, badass. I do believe to be a tarot reader that you do have to have had studied the meaning of the cards and the art of reading the tarot cards. That is the whole point of the tarot being the way the tarot is, and why there are a bazillion books on tarot, and why I even teach it in the first place. I'm not saying that being an intuitive reader is less than, not at all, but there is a difference in being trained or self-taught to read the cards as the system they are than being a completely intuitive reader. Some methods of reading the cards, when you look at what is going on in the card and intuitively working from there, will lead you to learning a lot more about the traditional key meaning of the cards. For sure, but there are some readers who never study or learn the meaning of the cards from any book, sites, teachers, or other sources. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying strictly intuitive, where there's been no formal learning or education of any way, shape, or form of the system and meaning of tarot. So if you want to learn the art of the cards and the secret of tarot, which is why they're called arcana in the first place, then books versus intuition confusion is likely to happen at some point. Intuitive readers who have just going completely 100% on intuition will just go with their intuition, as that is what they're using for their reading in the first and only place. If you have made the decision to learn the tarot, then narrowing down on which system can help further. So the second question is, what tarot system are you working with? Are you a Rider-Waite-Smith-based reader or a Thoth gal or girl? Does the Marseille hold its place in your tarot heart? It's not to say that you can only read one or that you should only read one system, but it can be very helpful to learn one system and work with that as the foundation for a place to start. Some decks have strength as a number 8, for instance, and others have it as a number 11 in the order of the major arcana. Court cards are different in different systems. For example, in the Thoth, we have princesses and princes. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, we have pages and knights. And then pip cards may throw you out completely if you are so used to seeing fully illustrated pictorial cards and then pick up the pips of the Marseille. I teach, learnt and read with the Rider-Waite system of tarot as my foundation. I am going to do a whole series of blog posts and videos on tarot for beginners, and I am going to cover the tarot systems in a deeper way. But for now, you don't have to pinpoint down the tarot system that you want to work with, but do have a think about where you would want to start and look at maybe the imagery, having a look at different types of that system, and then maybe just work with that one so that you have a really good foundation. That way you can put down the pile of books that are about anything else for now until you're in a place where you feel more confident to try something new. So now that you've cleared up those things about what kind of reader you want to be and what system do you want to work with, what do you do when you feel at odds with the source of information regarding a card or interpretation? Well, even if you're a more traditional tarot student and reader, where the cards mean a certain thing, preface, but we all know that their meanings change and deepen with experience and in regards to their position and combinations, most seasoned tarot readers will have their own personal meanings they have on top of their traditional or basic understanding of the cards. So start recording your own basic meanings of each of these cards to avoid information overload and confusion. And it will keep building as you read more, as you do more readings, as you learn, and as you live life in a way that reflects your spiritual understanding. You will add different information to your own catalogue of tarot card meanings, which is why many of us have a lot of books full of tarot notes. If you are also an intuitive reader and the book meanings is at odds with your intuition, I say go with your intuition. I cannot tell you how many times I've had a strong feeling about a card being something different than I expected, to be later told by feedback from my client that I was right about it. The thing with intuition is that the more that you honor that message and act on your intuitive knowledge, the clearer, faster, and more often it will show up for you, which is pretty rad. While you're at it, add that meaning to your growing personal tarot library. I like having my Rider-Waite-Smith knowledge to fall back on. I love the system and the meaning of those cards. I also have my personal working set of meanings for each card and my own tarot archetypes for my court cards. As many of you know, I have a book coming soon about that. And I use those in my readings every single day. But I know that when something is very different, when an artistic interpretation or a style is very different to what I know about the card, I carry over the meanings from my decks so that even if it is a very different artistic point of view, I can use my knowledge of the card first and foremost and then look at the specific card for additional information on top of that and marry that up with my intuition. It's like a fancy tarot cocktail. So we've got the traditional meaning that I understand of the card, the artistic point of view, my personal meanings of the card. So we put all of that into a cocktail shaker and then shake, and then put a little bit of my intuition in it on, maybe like sprinkle it on the rim of the glass, and we have a tarot cocktail. So I use all of those things together. What is great about that is it gives more dimension and depth to the reading and to my understanding of the cards themselves. When all else fails, I do feel go for your intuitive hit, listen to your gut feeling, but I am also really not one to throw out completely the meaning of the tarot cards because I am a tarot reader. I would love to hear what you do when you get conflicting information about a tarot card and their meanings. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.